It's Will Shannon here, and I just wanted to send you a shout out tonight and tell you at this stage of the course that I wanted you to know that there's really no incurable diseases or incurable illnesses. Now, I know that might sound a little bit flippant or a little bit easy just to say something like that, that there's no such thing as an incurable illness, but there really isn't. I mean, you and I as a human being have the power to surmount the most insurmountable odds. Every day we hear stories of human beings that overcome the worst scenario, and you and I have that same power inside of us to do that. And I'm not saying that as some sort of, rah-rah pump-up spiel that, you need to hear. We all know that's true, but we don't put ourselves into that adversarial conditions where we need to bring that out of ourselves. But I guarantee it, you and I have both been through some pretty horrific things that we've had to endure. Now, we may be walking down the street, and people think that we're completely normal, that we've never, had to face hard times. But, if you're human and you signed up for these lessons, we've all had to overcome probably some of the most horrific circumstances. It's just part of being on planet Earth and being in this playground. So everyone you meet is going to have some sort of, almost unbelievable story to tell. And I'm sure if you care about that person, even if they're a stranger, you're probably going to want to know what that is. But, we all hear stories of someone who, and I'm not trying to be horrific right now, but just bear with me for a moment, because we all hear stories of the most ridiculous things where someone's been climbing up a mountain and they've had to chop off an arm to preserve their own life. I mean, human beings will do whatever it takes to survive. I mean, God created us to want to live. And all of us, you and I, it's such a stupid metaphor, but, out of all those sperm that could have made it to the forefront, so you were alive, if you're human, you were number one. I mean, you came into this world with a tenacity to want to live. I mean, life moves to support life. And, even in many ways, that's what cancer is. The cells are about to die and they start replicating out of control, but we'll go into that, on another tape. But I really want you to know that not only do you have that spirit inside of you, but I'm not here to just try and pump you up, but that basically anyone does. And I want you to know that your clients have that inside of them as well. And, at some point you're going to work with incurable illness, and you're going to work with people who are on their deathbed, and you're going to hear a very, very similar spiel. When people are about to die, man, they always say the same things. They always say, I wish I had more sex. And I don't say that to be crude, it's just what human beings do. They never talk about being in the office, they talk about being with people they love, and they always talk about moments. They never, we'll never remember all our life, but we remember moments with people that we love, don't we? And you're going to find that when clients are on their deathbed, if you really can't do anything, then you let them go as pain-free as possible. And we'll talk about that another time. And you let them go with as much dignity as possible, whether it be whether it be nervine herbs, or whether you just let them pass with as much of their bodily functions intact or as dignified as possible. And you've got to never judge someone, even if they can't control their bodily functions. I remember hearing a story when I was a child of this woman I knew who was actually in our church group. I was raised Christian, and this lady's husband was about to die, and he'd been vomiting everywhere. And I remember her telling me that she'd had about 12 people over that day, and none of them had bothered to help. They'd all said, look, I'll do anything for you. But she said one of them just went and she cleaned the vomit up off the floor. And I tried to live my life with that attitude. And it's not in any way being more altruistic than anyone. And I don't want you, to ever think that you have to be someone you're not. But I really want you to know that, if someone's relying on you, then you do whatever it takes to get them well. And you don't always have to ask permission if it's in their best interest. Intention matters. And, if your intention is to really love that person, to really get through to them, then you'll do anything for them. And obviously, you won't harm them. But if you love someone, you'll chase them around the block, you'll kiss them on the cheek, you'll do anything that it takes that's in that human being's best interest in survival. But I think perhaps more importantly than that is really the ability to take another human being from where they are to where they want to be. And if someone's incurable, I've seen people that are told they're going to die within hours. And, they've been alive 25, 30 years later. And, I may not have been on planet Earth long enough to have been the person to treat that. But the stories that I've heard would make your hair stand on end. I've worked with prisoners who've endured the most vicious beatings that you and I would never want to go through on a daily basis. And I don't say that to shock you, but I say that to understand if that was you and I, we would have the same tenacity inside us. I've seen people beat to the point of paralysis and losing their memory, and we as human beings find a way to overcome this. Often emotional pain is a lot deeper than any sort of physical pain ever could be. We all have to overcome loss and horrific things. So I want to instill the belief system inside of you, whether I line up people on testimonials or something like that, that no situation is ever too broken, no spirit is ever too broken. All human spirit can be repaired. It doesn't matter if the person is so traumatized that they've become catatonic and aren't moving, or you're dealing with a human being that's so traumatized they can't even open their mouth. You have a way to get through to that person if your intention's in the heart, if you're aligned with spirit, if you really want to move that person, and you've got an arsenal of tools as well. But if you've got no tools other than intention, you'll be able to get through to that person. A mother can get through to a child with no psychological training, no therapeutic training, but a mother knows exactly how to be the best therapist on earth to that child. She hasn't had to go to university for years, or go to schooling like you and I did, or have thousands of tools to be able to manipulate someone or influence them. She just knows what to do. She doesn't even know how to read body language. She just loves someone so much that she'd do anything for them in that moment. And I encourage you to adopt a little bit of that servant spirit. Just even for the sake of it'll make you more money, it will get you more clients, it will allow you to influence the influential people. Influential people will drop into your office if they know that they can just be anonymous and you really care for them. Because if you're in that moment going, oh my God, this person is on television, or oh my God, this person is incredibly famous, you're inside worrying about yourself, aren't you? And you're not stripping away that person's identity. You're not getting that we all come home and we cry, bleed, need, we all get nervous, and it doesn't matter how successful any of us are. We still deal with certain beings, human beings. We're all going to get nervous. We're all going to have the fear that we're not good enough. We're all going to meet someone, and in that moment, that person might think you're the most wonderful practitioner or person in a personal context ever, and your deepest fears are going to fire off in that moment. You're going to, one day I'm going to train you, and you're going to have someone in your office, and you're going to go, shit, man, I never thought I would deal with someone this influential or this important in my community, or this good looking, or who I could care about this much, or who would love me. And in that moment, all your fears are going to come to the forefront, and in that moment you've got to strip away everything that you're feeling and step up and do your job and deliver for them in the most competent manner possible. It doesn't matter if you have the president of the most powerful country on earth in your office. You need to see the human being in there. You have to see the insecurity in them. You have to be respectful of their privacy and not go talk to your family and friends afterwards. You might say I had dinner with someone, but you're not going to drop that. But if you can be a person that people can rely on, who doesn't flinch, who, no matter how bad the situation, will give people hope. People are sitting in your office and they've got no memory and no hope and there's nothing there, and you can be a person who truly believes they can get well because you've seen it happen, because you believe in them, because you love them unconditionally. I remember I had something horrific happen to me, and I had one of my closest female friends in the world, and I was devastated. And I thought, will I ever be the same again? And I thought, will I ever help these people again? And I remember her turning to me and saying, Will, I'd love you, no matter what happened, no matter how you looked, no matter how you sounded, no matter how you acted, I love you for you. And if you can start adopting that attitude with other people, where you don't come from a place of judgment, but you come from a place of perception, I think you're going to find that you change people's world.